I'm Lori, and who are you?
Logan.
Logan and Olivia.
Brother John.
And we're going to read a special book. What's the name of the book?
The Berenstain Bears and the Easter Story.
And the Easter story. Let's see. I wonder what happens. It says, He has risen. Can you say that?
He has risen.
Mark 16:6.
Mark 16:6.
Okay. I wonder what this book's about. The Easter story. Ooh, it's springtime. And they're thinking it's Easter. What are they thinking about?
Candy.
They're thinking about, look at this, candy and bunnies and butterflies and eggs, right? Is that what Easter's about?
Yeah.
It is a little bit. That's what they're thinking about. Look, they're thinking of Peeps. Have you had a Peep?
No.
They're little marshmallows with sugar on them. They're so good. And they're thinking of chocolate bunnies. And what else? Easter baskets. Do you have an Easter basket yet?
Mm-mm.
You have an old one. They're thinking about all the stuff they're going to get. But then Miss Ursula says there's another story about Easter. Do you know it?
Yes. I don't.
You don't? And Livy does know part of it. Don't tell him yet. We're going to read it. He says, a long time ago, they were in the Holy Land, and there was a man named Jesus. And he went and he told everybody about God and how God loved his people. And a lot of people listened to Jesus and followed him. They're listening to Jesus. And Jesus performed miracles. At a wedding, they ran out of their wine. And you know what Jesus did? He took some water and he turned it into wine. That was a miracle. And then other people who were sick, see, he couldn't walk. He had a cane. Jesus would touch them or talk to them, and all of a sudden they could walk again. He healed them. He performed a lot of miracles. And people started to call him Christ because that's what they would call a king. They thought of him as a king. But sometimes people got mad at Jesus. They said, we don't like what you're saying. We don't like what you're teaching people. And you say you're the Son of God. Nobody can be God's son. And some of them started to get mad at Jesus. And they were afraid of him. And then Jesus came from a very small town. And he was going into a bigger place. And can you guess what he rode on? What did he ride?
A horse.
It's not a horse. You're close.
A donkey.
A donkey.
Donkey.
He rode on a donkey. And what were the people doing? Look at what they're doing, Logan. They have big leaves. They're laying those palms down in front of him. That's what we're going to do this Sunday. It's Palm Sunday. We're going to remember what they did. They said, he is a king. We want to say Hosanna and ask him to save us. And he got on into the city, and one night he went to a garden to pray. And do you know what happened while he was there?
What?
You see these men?
Mm-hmm.
Do they look nice?
No.
They don't. They're soldiers. They arrested Jesus and said, we're taking him to jail, to prison. And that's what they did. Jesus was just sitting there praying in the dark. But those soldiers arrested him. And then he had to go before this judge, and this judge was wicked. He was mean, and the judge asked Jesus a lot of questions and didn't like what Jesus said, and he said, okay, you have to die on a cross. They didn't like Jesus' answers. And they said, you have to die. And the day Jesus died, it was a horrible day. Does that look like fun? No. There was big dark clouds and a big wind. And what do the people, look at them, they're afraid. They don't want Jesus to die. Even those who didn't like him were a little bit afraid too. They knew they had made a mistake. and they put Jesus in the tomb. And they said, we don't want anybody to steal his body or do anything with it, so we're going to put this huge rock in front of it. See how big that rock is? Could you move that rock? It's too big for us to move.
The two of them are moving.
It took several people to put it in front of the tomb, and they sealed him in. He was dead, and they left him there for 2 days. And the women went to go and get his body and clean it, wipe the blood off of it. And who appeared to the women? Who is that?
Jesus.
That's not Jesus.
An angel.
An angel came to the women and said, don't be afraid. Jesus isn't here anymore. He is alive again. And the women ran back and told their friends. And the friends said, you're crazy. But after a few days, who came to visit those friends?
Jesus.
Jesus did. And they said, you are alive. You all right? You got choked up at it, didn't you? And then after a few more days, Jesus went into heaven to be with God. He didn't stay dead, Logan. He came back to life and went to heaven. And that's why we remember Easter today. The bunnies and the chocolate, that's all fun, and the Easter eggs. But what it's really about is that Jesus didn't stay dead. He rolled the stone away and he came back to life. Y'all want to say a prayer with me? Put your cup down for a minute. Let's say a prayer. You ready? Dear Jesus.
Dear Jesus.
Thank you.
Thank you
for dying for us.
for dying for us.
We love you
Love you
and remember you this Easter.
and remember you this Easter.
Amen.
Amen.
Good job. Now I'm sticky. Good job. Wave.
Bye.